Safe areas are one of those things that seem simple at first, but can limit your layouts pretty quickly. By default, FlutterFlow wraps your entire page in a safe area, which sounds good, until you try to build more advanced layouts. Things like floating navbars, edge-to-edge designs, or list scrolling under UI elements suddenly become really hard to pull off. So in this video, I'll show you how to take full control over safe areas, avoid layout issues across different devices, and build that clean, infinite screen effect where your UI flows edge to edge. Hi, I'm Uka from Calda, and we build production apps using FlutterFlow, and this is a pattern we use to get much more flexible layouts. By the end of this, you'll know how to handle safe areas correctly across different devices, avoid broken layouts caused by notches and system UI, and create that infinite screen effect where your UI flows edge to edge and components can scroll naturally underneath things like navbars. Before we start, you'll need a FlutterFlow project with custom code enabled, basic knowledge of Dart and Flutter, and some familiarity with the FlutterFlow UI builder. Safe area just means keeping your UI inside the visible part of the screen, so nothing is hidden behind things like the notch or system bars. FlutterFlow actually tries to solve this for you with the safe area toggle on the page settings, and is enabled by default. When you enable it, it applies padding to the entire page, which means you can't create floating navbars, you can't have lists scrolling under elements, and you lose a lot of layout flexibility. So naturally, you might try turning it off and adding padding manually, but that breaks your UI across different devices because safe area values are not the same everywhere. What we want to do is grab the safe area values from the device so we can actually use them in our UI. So first, just create a data type called safe area. Inside it, add 4 values. Then create a custom action called Get Safe Area Values. The important part here is to make sure you turn on Include Build Context. If you skip that, it just won't work. After that, generate the code, paste in the function from the guide, and save it. Now we need somewhere to store those values, so go ahead and create an app state variable using that safe area type. Next step is to go to your initial page, like your home page, and add an on-page load action. Call your custom action there and store the result in app state. If you want to be a bit cleaner, you can wrap it in a condition so it only runs once, but that's optional. And that's pretty much it for the setup. From here, just turn off the default safe area in your page settings and start using these variables wherever you need them. For example, you can add the bottom value to your list view padding so it scrolls nicely under your navbar. If something looks off, double check that you actually disabled the default safe area on the page. A lot of weird spacing issues come from that. Always test on different devices, or at least different screen sizes. Safe area values are not the same everywhere, and that's kind of the whole point of this setup. Don't overcomplicate it. Only apply safe area where you actually need it, and not on every single element. And that's it. You now have full control over safe areas in FlutterFlow, and you can build layouts that go edge to edge with still working correctly across all devices. This is one of those small structural changes that unlock a lot more flexibility especially when you're building more custom production-level UIs. From here, you can start layering components, adding floating elements, and creating much more dynamic layouts without fighting the default constraints. If this helped you, make sure to follow and subscribe for more FlutterFlow patterns, custom code tutorials, and practical tips for building production-ready apps.